Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Caitlin, and for today's video we are going to be starting my summer reading vlog. I'm super excited to be doing this video because I have been itching to get to my summer TBR. I did my summer TBR a couple videos ago where I picked out the books that I wanted to prioritize this summer. So we are going to be selecting books from this TBR cart. When I was creating my summer TBR, I made it intentional to select books that were not just romance. Even though I'm a big romance girly in the summer, I was like, let me throw in a fantasy, let me throw in some mysteries, let me throw in like a thriller, let me spice it up, because you never know. You might be in a romance mood and then you read a romance and you're like, I want something else. So I gave myself some options because I know myself. I do, however, know the book that I want to start, and that is none other than Happy Place by Emily Henry. I love Emily Henry. I love the way she writes her romances. I love her characters. I have been dying to read this book. I've heard nothing but great things about it. It's definitely, it's giving the summer vibe. I'm really excited. We're going to start with this one and then we'll come back to the TBR cart and choose the next pick as we get to that point. I am on page 102 and I'm on chapter 10. I'm loving it. I'm not obsessed with it, but I am loving it so far. It's been a year since I read anything by Emily Henry, so to be back into her writing style and the way she, creates just wonderful characters, and the way she paints the setting of the place that we're at is very summery. It's very beachy. Like, I want to be there right now. Literally pack my bags. Let's go to, what's the place called? Knott's Place in Maine. Let's go there. I want to be there. This book so far is about Harriet, where everything is told in her perspective. She is a brain surgeon and she's part of this really big friend group, and within that friend group she was in a relationship with one of the guys named Win. They broke up a couple months back, but she hasn't told her friends. But they go on this vacation that they go on pretty regularly, but this is a special vacation because it is potentially the last vacation, because the cottage that one of her friends own is being sold. So this is essentially their last vacation at this place that holds such a very special place in their hearts. And Win is also part of this vacation. The conflict with the situation is that Win and Harriet haven't told their friends that they are no longer together. So they are essentially pretending to still be together just to keep the good vibes going on, because it's their last vacation at this cottage. So they just don't want to bring the vibes down. They are pretending to still be in a relationship together just for the week. So that's kind of the setup of the book so far. The one thing I do enjoy about this book is that the chapters are split between Happy Place and then real life. So real life is what's going on right now. We're in the present moment, and then Happy Place, those chapters are back when Win and Harriet were getting to know each other, falling in love, or getting to see them meet for the first time, kind of build their relationship, build the connection, which I really like because we know they're broken up, but we don't know what happened between them. We don't know how intense this relationship was. They were engaged and they called off their engagement, and they were together for years and years, and a lot of their friends in their friend group look up to them and their relationship as like this great love story. So I'm so curious to see what exactly went down between them and what was kind of the downfall of the relationship. Their friend group, I feel like, is such a strong friend group. Like, they all have different personalities, and something that I enjoy about this book too is just how real it is. It feels like they're just normal people. Like, I want to know more about them and kind of like their relationship with each other. There's so many cute moments I've seen so far between Harriet and Win, so I feel like when we are reading those Happy Place chapters, when they're falling in love and getting together, and then we go from that to the real life chapters where they're not together, I feel like that's going to hurt. I will say, even though they're not together and there's obviously some animosity and angst between them, it's not bad. Like, it's not like, oh my gosh, whatever happened between them was horrific and they hate each other. Something definitely happened that I think was a big deal, but I don't feel this like extreme anger towards them. I feel like it's more of just hurt and heartbreak rather than like, I hate you. Like, I don't feel that energy between them. It's more of just pain and heartbreak and sorrow. I don't feel like they hate each other's guts. That's all I have at this moment. I'm going to continue reading and then I will update you guys when I am more into the book and I have more thoughts. So far, so good. We'll see where it goes. Also, oh my gosh, I think January and Gus from Beach Read were just mentioned in this book. Because I know Emily Henry leaves like little Easter eggs about other characters in her books. I wonder if it's them. Which if it is, oh my gosh, that's so cute. I like have you guys balance on my jewelry stand thing and I'm like scared it's gonna fall. I am now on page 192. We got a little bit more of Win and Harriet's background and them being together. Like I said, it's told in kind of two perspectives. So when they were happy and together and building that relationship, and in the present day when they're in this vacation with their friends and they're pretending to be together. I feel like having those moments in the middle of them not loving each other right now hurts a lot more, because you really see the love and the relationship and the growth that they had to get to that happy place together, and now getting that and then going to a chapter where they can't stand each other sucks. I don't think what I originally thought happened, I don't think that happened. Well, it didn't happen because they explicitly said it didn't happen. I'm really curious to see how it's all going to play out in the end, especially because they are very nervous to tell their friends that they're no longer together, and I think their friends definitely added this pressure of them being this perfect couple and always together. I wonder if their friends can tell, but they're not saying anything and they're just waiting for Harriet and Win to tell them that something's wrong. I am definitely enjoying it a lot more now than I was before. We're gonna go sit outside and read. Very summery. Why are you so good and talented? I've like teared up a few times reading this book. There's just so much heartache that I think both of these characters are experiencing, and there's just so much insecurity within themselves as individuals, and that obviously bleeds into the relationship. This idea of a happy place and this idea of trying to be a happy place for a person and realizing that you might not be enough. What was once a happy place, which was their relationship, now becomes this darker place when you see the descent of the happiness. I think those were some of my favorite chapters, but they were definitely some of the harder chapters to read. I am able to see myself in both of these characters so well, and I try to not self-insert when I read books. I try to just read books about people, but it's so hard when characters are going through things that you obviously are also going through, and they're grappling through things that you grapple with. Win grapples a lot with not feeling like he's enough for her and not feeling like he's interesting enough, and that people think that he's, you know, this really cool person, and then they get to meet him and they're like, oh, you're kind of boring. And I'm like, oh, story of my life. And then I was talking to my friend yesterday and I was like, he feels this way, and she's like, it's so funny because that's the exact opposite. Like, he's so thoughtful, he's so passionate, he's so kind, he's such a good person, a good friend, a good lover, a good son. And I'm just like, you're right. You're so right. Like, if there's somebody that I have fallen in love with in this book, it is definitely Win. With the friendships in this book, they have this close found family relationship with all of each other, but it's not just Harriet and Win who are hiding something. It's like all of the friends are hiding something from everybody in the friend group, and honey, we're all keeping secrets. And I think that really says something about how strained, I think, in some ways the relationship has become. Usually I like to give myself a couple of hours before I give my final thoughts about a book, especially if I finish it at night. I like to give myself a couple of hours to like sleep on it, so I have like my thoughts kind of more prepared. But I just want to talk about this book right now because this book took me by surprise. When it started, I was like, I don't know if I'm feeling this. Reading this book felt like taking a really hard look in the mirror and analyzing everything that you see, analyzing everything that's reflected back to you. Reading this book felt like I was reading myself. I know I said that me and Win, I connect so much to him as a character, but Harriet, especially those last couple of chapters, it felt too personal. I was just reading and there were tears streaming and I was just like, this is too much. It's too much. It's too close to home. Happy Place, you're getting a 5 stars from me. The second half of the book, It ain't. Just the reality of what it looks like to be an adult and to grow up and to have adult friendships and to have friends that you've had when you were super young, and as you're growing older, things change. It's growing pains, it's coming of age, it's all of those things put into this book, and I thought that it was so beautifully done. I felt like the romance was so good, and there's a lot of empathy I have for both of the characters and all of the characters in this, because everybody is just kind of keeping things to themselves and are afraid to say the truth because they're afraid to kind of break this bubble that they are in and to kind of break this idea that they are holding on to of the past and who they were in the past, and afraid to accept the reality that, hey, we're adults now, we're growing up now, like things are not going to look the same way they were when we were in college, and that's okay. I love this book. Definitely gave me the summer vibe that I needed and that I was going for. I'm excited to read Funny Story. I don't know when I'm gonna read that one. I'm always like a year late when it comes to reading Emily Henry books, so I probably will read it next year. All right, so I'm gonna wait to pick my next book tomorrow morning. I have an idea of what I want to read. I want to read something that's light and not sad like at all. Like I just want to read something fun and exciting and just cute and like simple. We'll see. But I'll wait till tomorrow to choose my next read. I just want to watch TikToks about Happy Place and watch people talk about Happy Place. Alright, so the next book I ended up picking up was The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, and I have been reading this for the past like hour or so, and I am already on page 104, chapter 14. This book goes by so fast. The chapters are really short, the writing is pretty simple and straightforward, so it's really easy to read and not like want to stop, and it's pretty engaging so far. It follows our main character, Cassie. She's a 17-year-old girl working in a diner, and she has this kind of natural skill and ability to analyze people and to kind of know and predict what they're going to do and their behaviors, and she is recruited by the FBI to join this group of teenagers who have different types of natural abilities similar to hers to help crack cold cases. So she meets these group of kids that are all part of this organization, and they are called the Naturals. So it's her, and she's like this profiler. It's another guy, his name's Michael, and he has a knack for reading people's emotions. And then there's Leah, who is really good at deception, and she can tell when people are lying, and her herself is like a pretty good liar. There's Sloane, who is really good with numbers, and then there's Dean, who is another profiler, so similar to Cassie. That kind of sets up the book. Right now we're kind of just seeing Cassie kind of get acclimated to this space. We're getting to know these new people. There is something personal to Cassie that's going on, like kind of in the background, and I'm really curious to see how that's going to play out and how it's going to be brought up later on in the story. This book reads like a TV show. Like this is like the perfect script for a TV show. A couple of chapters could just be an episode, and this book is also split into different parts. So part 1 was only like 50 something or so chapters, and now we're in part 2. There's one guy, and he's so like, I'm upset at the world and I'm so angry, and I'm like, is that her love interest? I don't know. This is reminding me so much of like X-Men, but this is good so far. I'm definitely enjoying it. I'm liking how quickly I'm kind of getting through it and how fast-paced it is. So if you are in a reading slump, this is a pretty good book, I think, to get you out of a reading slump just with like the pace of it. What? What does that mean? Why am I getting anxious? I don't like this. What's going on? I don't like this. Okay, let me not get ahead of myself. Let me keep reading. Let me keep reading. Let me keep reading. I skipped down. I looked too far down. Why did I do that? What the heck? That's just stupid. This is not a funny situation, but the way that this person is talking to Cassie, I'm losing it. Girl, be so serious. If I was Cassie, I would laugh in that person's face. What did I just read? You know, I know this was a book about a bunch of teenagers trying to solve this murder mystery. I knew they were solving cases, dealing with serial killers. I was not expecting this. This is Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. I'm distraught. Good morning. It is the next day. Finished The Naturals last night. This book just goes by super quickly. There are short chapters, so you can just continue to read and you don't even realize how fast you're flying through this book. So if you are in a reading slump, if you just need a quick pick-me-up, I definitely see why people recommend this book. There's no filler moments in this book. I felt like every chapter, every moment we had with these characters was very important to the story, and I never felt like I was like, oh my gosh, I'm waiting for the next thing to happen. It was like the next thing is already happening before I even get the chance to wait for it to happen. There's a mystery you're trying to solve with an active case that the FBI is trying to solve, and then the Naturals kind of get involved because that mystery and active case is tied to Cassie, our main character's personal life. I had my own idea of how it was going to end, and you know what was going to be the big reveal at the end of the book, which you got one big reveal. There's another reveal that you don't get. That's definitely a reason I think for this to be a series, but the one reveal that we did get, I was not expecting. I was taken aback. I was definitely caught off guard. I was definitely surprised. It was definitely a plot twist. Like, I was shocked. But honestly, I feel like looking back, I probably should have picked it up. There's another perspective that's embedded throughout the book, and that ties into the active case. I really like that perspective because I think it added something else to the story. I made it a little bit more interesting because you're trying to figure out whose perspective am I reading from, because there's not a name to those chapters. It's just called You. I will say one of the things that I did notice as I was reading this book is that there's not much character development, and I think it's because the book really focuses on moving the plot along. So I felt like we didn't get a chance to really see much of Cassie and much of Dean and much of, I'm trying to think of the other characters, Mike, oh my gosh, I love Michael, much of Michael and Leah and Sloane in this book, because I felt like we were just trying to get to the next plot segment. But it is a series, so I definitely think we're going to get more character development as we go along the series, but that is something that I felt like I was missing from this book. And there seems to be a love triangle that's brewing, and it seems to be quite balanced. Like, our character doesn't know which guy she's really into more. I have an idea of who she'll probably choose just because I know how these stories go. But overall, I really did enjoy this book. I'm so happy that I just gave it a chance and I read it. I would definitely pick up the second book and the rest of the series. I am going to give this book 4 out of 5 stars. Definitely pick it up if you haven't already. Now it is time to choose our next read for this reading vlog, and I'm so excited to do that. So I have my, you guys can't see it, but I have my reading cart that had all the books on my summer TBR that I'm supposed to be choosing from. However, there have been some new releases in the past couple of days that are taking priority at the moment. So technically these are on my summer TBR. They just, at the time that I was making my summer TBR, I just didn't have the books because they weren't released yet. So technically I'm not cheating. But the next book I think I'm going to read is So This Is War by Megan Quinn. This is the last book in her hockey romance series, and I'm super excited to read this one because this one follows our main character Posey, and I love him. He is such a funny guy. Like, he's been helping all of his friends, because it's an interconnected series. He's been helping all of his friends in the friend group kind of find their women. We're now finally getting his love interest, so I'm really excited to read it. I haven't read any like major reviews on it thus far. I really don't know too much about what this book is about other than kind of the tropes. When I get more into the book, I will let you guys know how I'm feeling about it. I will be reading it on my Kindle. I'm heading to the car dealership this morning. I'm not buying a car. I just have to get my oil change and everything done, so we'll probably start that book then. It's the next day and I have an update. I have been reading this book non-stop all day yesterday. I woke up this morning and I was like, I want to read, but I was like, I'm already 50% into this book. I need to give you guys an update because, oh my gosh, this book is going by so fast and I'm loving it. It's so good. Now, is it very unrealistic and quite far-fetched? Absolutely. But I'm eating it up. So This Is War follows our main character, Posey. Like I said, this is about his book and his love story. And then our female main character's name is Wiley. And Wiley is Posey's coach's daughter. So she's like off limits. The coach is like, do not go near my daughter. And I will say, there's a very interesting relationship between Wiley and her dad because her dad is very aggressive and her dad is very conditional with his love. So Wiley was in school to get her, I think, MBA in business administration, and her dad was funding it, and she realized that that's just not what she wants to do. She wants to follow her dreams in graphic design. And her dad didn't know that she took off the final year or semester of the MBA program, and when he found out, he was very upset with her, very angry with her. He wasn't really trying to hear her out about her dreams, and like that's just not what she wants to do. So he was like, okay, I'm gonna completely cut you off. You're gonna live this life that you think that you want, and you're gonna see it what it really is to be a struggling artist. And she was like, bet. However, he gets Posey on the line and is like, okay, Posey, I want you to hire her as your personal assistant, and I want you to make her life a living hell because I want to show her and prove to her that life is hard. And life is hard, guys. Special Kimmel. This is Miss Cameron from Sister Dearest. Do we look alike? Okay. I forgot what I was talking about. So that's essentially the setup of the book. However, Posey and Wiley met like a year ago prior to this, and he didn't know that that was the coach's daughter, and they had a very cute kind of meet cute. There was a lot of chemistry. So he is just a mess. I don't even know if that really is a good description of the setup of the book. It's just kind of chaotic because Posey is trying to follow his coach's wishes and is like, okay, well, I owe you one. I'm gonna make her life a living hell. I'm gonna make her go on the craziest task, being my personal assistant. Basically being a douchebag, but that's not really who he is, and he hates it, so he feels guilty a lot of the time. So you really get to see that kind of internal conflict within himself. The coach, like I said, the coach has a problem. Like, I don't know what is up with this man, but he's just not a good dad, and I hope that we get more as to like what Wiley's upbringing was like, because her mom left her and her dad when she was younger, and she doesn't feel that connection with her father that I think he feels towards her. I don't know, it's a very interesting relationship. That's kind of where the book started, and then where we are right now is Wiley comes to find out that her dad and Posey are in on this little game essentially, and she's like, bet, I'm gonna make Posey's life a living hell as well. So she is basically trying to seduce this man and have him break, and it's very interesting because you can see he is struggling, and then like I said, Posey is like the glue to this friendship of like all the guys on this hockey team, and he has helped all the guys fall in love with their female main characters in their books, and it's now his turn, and he just doesn't want any of the guys' help. The guys keep asking like what's going on, and he's like, I'm not telling you guys anything. But he does get help from other people. I won't tell you who he gets help from because I think it's so funny, I think it's so cute. But I wonder if he's ever gonna get help with the guys, and I wonder how that's going to be, because all the guys are stupid except for Posey when it comes to love. And I love that. He's in a big predicament right now with being the coach's daughter. She's completely off limits. She knows that he's low-key kind of playing her with her dad, but she doesn't know why he's doing it exactly, because he's not doing it because he wants to. He's doing it because he feels like he has no choice because the coach has cashed in on a favor that Posey owes him. So that's where I'm at in the story as we speak. This book is so funny. It's definitely a romantic comedy. Megan Quinn puts the comedy and romantic comedy so well. Okay, my camera's about to die, but I'm going to keep reading. I like it so far. I will update you guys when probably when I'm done with this book, because I'm not gonna stop. I just wanna keep going and keep going and keep going, but I'll update you guys if anything crazy happens or when I'm done with the book. Y'all, I don't know what Miss Megan was going through when she wrote this book. Things are getting steamy. I'm loving it, but oh my God. I know this is not the best lighting, but it's already 9 o'clock when I'm filming this, and I just got back from work, so I apologize if my eyes look a little bit tired. But we finished So This Is War by Megan Quinn. I finished it yesterday like I thought I would, because I could not put this book down. It was so freaking good. This was definitely Megan Quinn's steamiest out of this hockey romance series that she has. I really liked it because it was really exciting, and I do think their relationship was more physical than anything else, but I also think that they just matched each other's freaks really, really well. I really liked this book. I feel like we got to see a different side of Posey and also a different side of the different types of relationships that go on throughout this series. I think it did take a second for the emotional feelings and attachment to come about, but I will say when they declared their love for each other, I was kind of taken aback because I was like, where is this coming from? Like, apart from you guys having this chemistry physically, where is this love coming from? I just wasn't fully grasping that part. With the games that they were playing with each other, I think HR would have had a field day with them because they were technically boss and assistant. Like, Posey was her boss, and what they were doing, I was like, this is so crazy. This is ridiculous. Like, it just got to a point at some times when I was like, this would never ever happen. Like, be so for real. Be so for real. But I will say too, if there's one book that I could just drop myself in, I would do anything to be in Wiley's point of view. I felt like she had the best of both worlds. I want to be Wiley. Another thing too is that this is an age gap romance, which Posey's 32 and then Wiley's 22, but they don't really bring it up a lot, which I personally really liked, because if you keep bringing up the age, it's gonna ick me out. I kind of forgot that it was an age gap because I felt like Wiley was pretty mature-ish for her age, but I will say Posey acted a little bit like younger than a 32-year-old I think would act. But I said this earlier, but Posey is 100% the backbone of the series, and you definitely get that solidified towards the end of the book. Even the characters know that he is the backbone of this friend group, and I just love that he finally got the recognition and love that he deserves. The last thing I will say about So This Is War, Posey and Wiley's story, is Wiley's dad. I am giving him the major side eye. I've gone on this entire like portion of the vlog how I just don't like her dad. Her dad is very aggressive, and I feel like Wiley just deserved a better father. And I don't want to say that he's given a redemption arc necessarily, but I just don't like that man. I could care less for him. I think he needs to go and do some deep therapy work because he's just not a good father. He's not a good coach. He's just not a good person. And I could care less what happened to him. But I just had to point that out because I really did not like that man. And I felt like he has said so many hurtful things, not just to Wiley, but Posey. And I just was like, I need him to get on his knees and apologize before... Shit. It's 4th of July and there's fireworks. But I need him to get on his knees and apologize before I even think about forgiving him. In all, I really enjoyed this book. Something I needed for the summer. It was steamy, it was fun, there was the dramatics. It just felt like a really good Megan Quinn book. So I think I'm gonna give this book, I'm gonna give this book a 4 out of 5 stars. Got these fireworks! I don't know if this is any better. I think this is actually better lighting. But let's do a very quick recap of all the books that I read in this reading vlog. I had such a good time. I felt like this was a very successful reading vlog. I really enjoyed all the books that I read, and I'm so happy that I was able to actually tackle my summer TBR. So I just want to pat myself on the back. We started off this reading vlog very strong. We read Happy Place by Emily Henry, gave this 5 out of 5 stars. Then we did something a little bit out of my comfort zone. We picked up a young adult mystery, The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. Really enjoyed this one as well. We gave this one 4 out of 5 stars. We finished with So This Is War by Megan Quinn, and I gave this one 4 out of 5 stars as well. A very successful reading vlog. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Comment down below any thoughts or opinions or your ratings for these books if you've read them already. If you have not read Megan Quinn, please get into her work. She's a hit or miss author for me, but she has been hitting recently, and after reading this book I definitely want to dabble into more of her work. She has so many books, so I'm really excited to read more of her books. But yeah, if you've read any of these books, let me know in the comments down below. Also, I want to know your official Emily Henry ranking. After reading Happy Place, I feel like my ranking is, I've thought about this a lot actually. It's People Meet on Vacation, Book Lovers, Happy Place, and Beach Read. I haven't read Funny Story yet, so I'm interested to see where that's gonna fall. But as of now, that's my official Emily Henry ranking. So drop yours in the comments below. That is it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next one very soon. Bye!